Hello, Jesse Good here. Today we're taking a look at the 2010 LEGO Harry Potter Hagrid's Hut set, which does have 442 pieces and retailed for $40 when it was released back in the day with 4 minifigures. This was not previously opened, and I'm going to devalue it a lot, but, you know, I do want to build this and compare this to all of the other versions, which we reviewed the first two, and we'll soon review the 2019 version when it comes out, June 1st? But there's all of your pieces and instructions, a sticker sheet as well. Here's the set all built up. Now let's take a look at those minifigures. So first we'll take a look at Hagrid himself, and this is such a step up from those 2001 and 2004 versions. This one was in a couple of sets, including the Forbidden Forest a year after this came out, as well as Diagon Alley a few months after this set came out. The design of this does use the same base pieces though from the 2000 versions, with this little finger design here that's so weird. That big bulky torso, which even has a little bit of stitching at the back as a design. I always like the molding of that particular part. And if you see, this beard is actually the same piece as well, which is just this rubber. Underneath, much better facial printing this time around. You get a better look at the pieces. And if you're wondering, this works a lot like a Lego minifigure. You can't move the legs underneath, but you can move these arms up and down just like a Lego minifigure arm, but they are a little bit bigger than regular Lego minifigure arm. His accessories include a crossbow as well as his iconic pink umbrella. Here is Harry Potter. This is the same version that was used in most of the 2010 and 2011 sets with a very common face print and torso because it was just shoved into all of those sets. At the back, you have some more torso printing, and you do have an alternate face where he looks a little bit angry there. So here's Ron Weasley. He was actually quite rare to get in this 2010/2011 wave, and this is the cheapest way to get him with that face print there. The only other sets that he came in with that face print was the Hogwarts Express and I think the Diagon Alley set. Now if you look at his back facial printing, he has a much more confident look. And finally, there's Hermione, which that face print is kind of hard to find like Ron's. She was in the 2010 Hogwarts Castle set and then the Diagon Alley set, but also used for Padme in a Lego Star Wars set around the same time, so that's kind of funny. She uses a princess braid hair, which I wish they still use this day. I always like that hairpiece. And her back facial expression looks a little bit annoyed there, and I guess that's kind of fitting for Hermione, probably being annoyed at Ron or Harry. Back to the build of the set, let's take a look at Hagrid's Hut. So for this build of Hagrid's Hut, this is the ultimate version of the ones that open up. Now, if you remember, there was 2 previous ones that opened up before this, one released in 2001 with the first movie, and one released in 2004 with the third movie. This takes that same design, where you can see these hinge pieces right here, and you can open it up right in the middle, and it gives you a lot of room to play with on the inside. And this possibly has the best interior out of the first 3 Hagrid's Huts. There's a cauldron right here, which you could easily move from the flames, just kind of is on that swivel part there. And there's also a light brick feature where you could press that and not only illuminate the inside, which is pretty cool to see from the outside. You can just see a little bit of that light coming out, but it's really meant to show how the flames are kind of lighting up the area. So that's kind of cool. There's these little potions or whatnot, vials up here, which there's one in green, one in red, and one in blue, all translucent. There's a fish hanging on the side there. There's also a chicken leg at the top here. A key, which is classic for the Hagrid's Hut sets. On the right section of the interior, we have a sticker on the wall. And also we have a little owl right there, which is nice to get in gray. And also a broom to the right. We have a little plate, a cup, and Hagrid's lantern right here, which is a pretty cool build in general. There's also a secret little letter hidden underneath this table. A little bit hard to get out, but push it there. And that's just the original letter print that we've had since, 2001, I think, with the first wave of sets. Not much else going on here, though. Just a little bit more details if you look closely. That looks like the Executioner's Axe with the Azkaban storyline. And we actually get that figure in the 2019 version, which I can't wait to get. Also another key up there. And if you're wondering how the roof parts are built, they actually use these hinge pieces up here, and that makes the roof in general adjustable, which works pretty well. And for a closer look of the exterior, this is the backside, and there's some really cool details here. This is actually the piece that you push to illuminate the inside with the light brick, but there's also some printed mushrooms over here, which use that dish piece in a pretty hard to find print. Also, there's some pumpkins here. I like the new 2019 pumpkin piece, but back then what they actually used here is quite funny. It's this jack-o'-lantern head print from 2010's Monster 4 board game. They just kind of put it to the backside so that you don't see that evil face. I guess you could say that's a secret of the set, but that's definitely just them trying to reuse an old print to save some money. There's also some sticker details on the walls, which add a stone look to it, which looks really nice. There's one on the chimney up here. At the side here, that's one of the windows. More stickers on this side, as well as a rat at the front. Another one of the pumpkins. This one has a nice plant detailing to it. Also another owl, which is in brown, and that's really nice. And that's really it for the exterior of the set. There is one other build of the set, and that is Aragog, which I do actually like how this came out. I originally thought it was going to be flimsy and whatnot, but the katana usage for the legs actually works really well. There's a 1x2 printed towel for the face up front, which is nice as well, and this big piece at the back, which has an exclusive print. Now you could adjust these legs up and down as you'd like, so that's really good to get different positions or whatnot for Aragog. And while I think the 2018 version is better, I think this is definitely a step up from the 2002 version, which I owned when I was younger. I think I still have it, but it's just all taken apart. Other than that, though, the problem is that these katanas, as shown right here, do tend to fall off sometimes when you're adjusting the legs, which I wish that was a little bit, I guess, more sturdy, but it's not too big of a problem. And you can also adjust this part at the back if you'd like, because it is clipped on, so you get more positions out of that. But that is it for Aragog. There are 3 other animals in this set, which are these little spiders. So you could have Aragog's army of spiders added to the design of Hagrid's hut. But that's it for the build. Let's take a look at the packaging and then the final verdict. The box for this set is that classic $50 box size that they used up until around, I think, 2013 or so. Sometimes they'll use it to this day, but for a little bit more expensive sets. As for the instructions, unfortunately there's no set ad, but rather just an ad for LEGO Harry Potter Years 1 through 4, the video game. So overall, this is just an improvement of the original structure of the first 2, and this is most similar to those than, say, the 2019 version. And in my opinion, this is the ultimate version of that original build. Now what we'll do is once the 2019 version comes out, we'll compare all 4 and see which is the best Hagrid's hut. Probably not going to be the 2001 version because it has that very crappy cardboard roof. This one in particular, I love. I love how it's built. I love how its interior is really fun to play around with. I love how it's great to display from the outside. I love how they throw in Aragog, which is just a nice surprise. It has all 3 of the main characters, which is great. There's a lot going for this that puts this above those last 2. And who knows, maybe even above the 2019 version. But we'll have to see once that comes out. So yeah, don't have much else to add here. Really like this set, and I think that this was a huge seller back in the day, and now I understand why. I regret not buying it at its original price, but thankfully I didn't pay too much extra on eBay to get this version. Either way, what do you guys think? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'll see you guys later. Peace out. Bye.